Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Uncharacteristic Studios. Now, as I'm doing this episode, today is the 17th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. And, you know, it doesn't even seem like it's been 17 years, folks. I mean, so many lives. I mean, what happened? I mean, seeing those planes being hijacked and crashed into the World Trade Center and into the Pentagon and in rural Pennsylvania. I mean, that's just something that doesn't even seem real. It just doesn't seem like, you know, that was something that would actually happen in real life. And you know, thousands of lives being lost on that day. And my thoughts and prayers continue to be with the families of the victims in the city of New York, everyone that works at the Pentagon, and then everyone who lives in rural Pennsylvania. And right here I have a New York Mets hat. Now I know that there's going to be some folks in certain boroughs of New York that are going to frown upon me because it's a New York Mets hat. I know there's some of y'all, especially those that live off in the Bronx, that are fans of the Yankees. But this lets you know that I'm for y'all, no matter what borough of New York or wherever you are. If you're a fan, I mean, if you have family members that were the victims of these unspeakable acts of violence, my thoughts and prayers with y'all. Much love to each and every one of y'all. And also, in this episode, we'll be raising awareness of PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now, PCOS is a genetic condition, or a genetic disorder rather, where a woman's ovaries become enlarged and they have cysts growing around them. Now, some of the symptoms that a woman may have with PCOS, one of them is that they have prolonged menstrual cycles, and I can only imagine how painful that might be for these women. They may have excess male hormones, and in which a lot of times they end up growing facial hair. Now, I'm sorry, but women should never have to have facial hair. I just don't believe that. And here's the most heartbreaking thing. When a woman, most commonly when a woman has PCOS, it prevents them from producing eggs and conceiving. Now, and one other thing, it can also lead to cancer in the uterus. But back to the whole not being able to produce eggs. I believe all women should be able to, deserve to conceive, to deserve to have children inside of it and then bring them into the world. I totally believe that they should. All women deserve to be moms. That's just my belief. And, you know, hopefully one day a cure will be found for PCOS, so there won't have to be any more of this. I mean, as I always say, adversity is temporary. But I made this Comic Hero tee. It's a PCOS theme. If you see, you can't really. I don't know if you can see real well. Kind of wish I had more than one camera. There are fists punching through a wall. And then right here is a patch. This is a patch that I designed myself. It says, "I wear teal for her." Now the word "her" is, when I mean her, I mean any and every woman who lives with PCOS. I mean, if you're a woman and you're watching this and you have PCOS, or you know someone who has PCOS, this episode is for y'all. Much love to y'all, and I'm here for you. All right, it's time to give away a free T-shirt. Alright, last week's episode, I asked, which Guardian of the Universe are those little blue men that appear in the pages of Green Lantern, recruited Kyle Rayner to be a Green Lantern? Well, the answer is Ganthet. Now, he did this because because Hal Jordan, who was under the influence of Parallax, had ended up killing, or either killing or injuring the entire Green Lantern Corps and taking their rings, and he ended up killing every Guardian with the exception of Gansett. So Gansett took one ring. He went to Earth to find a new Green Lantern. He wound up in L.A. and found Kyle Rayner, and he became a Green Lantern and has been a Green Lantern ever since. But the answer is Gansett. And 7 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So, the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Corey Melanson from Lafayette, Louisiana. So congratulations, Corey. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Daredevil question. And it's really easy if you either read Daredevil or you watch the TV series on Netflix. What is Daredevil's occupation when he's Matt Murdock? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee in next week's episode of the show. So, I gotta ask, any questions?
Questions I walk around in. Questions I didn't thrive in. Questions I will survive in. Questions.
Alright, I only have one question for this week, and it's from my mom, Nell Nunley from Homer, Louisiana. She asked, what fuels your passion for comics? Well, Mom, here's my thing. If you have a passion for something, then you shouldn't be able to be ashamed of it. You should always you should always share your passion with other folks. You can't really, this is a harmless hobby. It's been a hobby that I've been doing for a little more than 20 years, and I just love to share it with other folks. At first, I was a bit bashful about it, but then as I came about it, I should never be ashamed of the things I do if they're positive, and this is a positive thing, and I have no regrets for it. I'm just gonna, and just like doing this web series, I'm just gonna keep reading and collecting comics until I'm physically unable to. Let that be a lesson to everyone. If you have a passion and you want to share it with folks, don't be afraid. Go for it. Alright, that's it for any questions. If you have any questions you want to ask me, contact info is down there. Or if you're watching this from social media, let me know on whatever social media page that is. Alright, now D'Angelo Ballou from Warren, Ohio has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features an omnipotent character in comics against an omnipotent character on the video game screen or console. Representing DC, we have Dr. Manhattan, and representing Street Fighter, we have Seth. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Dr. Manhattan versus Seth. Dr. Manhattan possesses atomic manipulation, density manipulation, size manipulation, immortality, resurrection, superhuman strength, flight, phasing, extrasensory perception, elemental transmutation, teleportation, super genius intelligence, invulnerability, perfect memory, dimensional travel, precognition, self-duplication, self-sustenance, and temporal and history manipulation. Seth possesses a transcendent fighting style beyond human knowledge, omnipotence, matter modification, absorption, and various moves from every other character in Street Fighter. Who will win? This fight will be evenly matched at first. After minutes of back and forth attacks, Seth suddenly absorbs Dr. Manhattan's powers. The latter immediately becomes no match for Seth. He then tries to go back in time to prevent Seth from gaining his powers, but Seth catches him in the act and absorbs all that's left of his powers. Dr. Manhattan then becomes nothing more than a regular human being. Seth wins. And that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that fight. And if you have fight requests for future episodes, contact info is down there. All right, it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics. All right, there are going to be two things we're going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking. And the first one is the news about the new Green Lantern series that's coming out. And it's going to be written by Grant Morrison with art by Liam Sharp. Now, Grant Morrison, he has written books like JLA and New X-Men, delivered on both of them, delivered on so many other projects that he's taken on. And I'm very excited about this. I mean, and then Liam Sharp, I mean, I enjoyed his artwork on Wonder Woman, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Green Lantern. Now, you're probably wondering which Green Lantern they're going to use. They're going to use Hal Jordan. I mean, he was, he's been regarded as probably the best of all the Green Lanterns from Earth. And, me growing up, I've never really been a big Hal Jordan fan. I was always a fan of Kyle Rayner. This is also going to, and the same thing goes for Grant Morrison. I mean, this is the first time that he's delving into the world of the Hal Jordan Green Lantern, because the only Green Lantern that he was really familiar with was Kyle Rayner when he was the only Green Lantern while Morrison was writing JLA. And I can't wait to see what these guys are going to have in store. But Green Lantern coming soon. And then here's the second thing, and I just learned this from my good friend, comics artist Mike Hawthorne. The Superior Spider-Man is making a comeback, and this is going to be either during or on the heels of this Marvel miniseries entitled Spider-Geddon, in which now it was said in a previous issue of the Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was at the end of Amazing Spider-Man number 800. That Otto Octavius went by a different name. Oh, by the way, Otto Octavius, to tell this, I would have to go all the way back to the Clone Conspiracy. He transferred his conscience from the robot that Peter Parker had sent him in and then ended up cloning him. After Octavius made a clone of himself, and at first, after the Clone Conspiracy, he started going by the name the Superior Octopus. But he wanted to do so much more than that. He wanted to be Spider-Man again, and he ended up joining up with Horizon Labs over in San Francisco. And I think he's going to, in the Page of the Spider-Geddon, he's going to be it again. But it's going to be written by Christos Gage. The new Superior Spider-Man series is going to be written by Christos Gage with art by Mike Hawthorne. And you know what? I've always been a fan of Mike's artwork ever since he was working on Deadpool. And he's no stranger to Spider-Man either. He actually penciled a few issues of the previous volume of the Amazing Spider-Man. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do with this. But the Superior Spider-Man coming later this year for Marvel. Alright, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. What's Daredevil's job when he's Matt Murdock? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Corey Melanson from Lafayette, Louisiana, who won a free tee in this week's episode. Alright, now, I don't mind helping people. Everyone who knows me knows that. And I know this is a web series about comics, but I have no regrets for helping people in the process. And next week's episode is no different. I'm going to be raising awareness of prostate cancer. I personally know some men who have it, and you know, my heart goes out to them. Just like my heart goes out to women with PCOS. Just like my heart goes out to children who live with SMA. We've got to learn to love more, folks. We can't be selective when it comes to loving people. We can't only love certain people. We have to love everyone. That kind of reminds me of, and then not only that, we've got to learn to respect each other. That reminds me of this DJ. I don't know if he's still there, but there was this DJ at his radio station in Shreveport. Well, back then it was called Oldies 95.7. I think now it's called The River. This is a guy named J.J. O'Brien, and his parting words were, if we spend too much time judging one another, then we're never going to have enough time to love one another. And that's so true. That's very true. We have to learn to love each other. We have to learn to love each other. We can't just limit it to family and then close friends. We have to love each other. There's a difference. Know it. All right, here's the road ahead for the show. For next week's episode 229, I'm going to be raising awareness for prostate cancer. For episode 230, I'm going to be raising awareness for childhood cancer. In episode 231, that's the 5th anniversary episode of the show. Oh, 5 years. 5 years. It seemed only like yesterday that I started doing the show, and I just thank God for allowing me to be doing it for as long as I have. And also want to thank all my viewers, past and present, and those that came later. I thank y'all so much. And episode 232, I'm going to raise awareness for breast cancer. Episode 233, I'm going to be raising awareness for bullying. Next month is Bullying Prevention Month, and that is something that really hits home for me because I was bullied, when I was in school. And then in episode 234, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to raise awareness of domestic violence. Because I personally know some men and women who were victims of domestic. Well, no, I'm not going to say victims. I'm going to say survivors. Although I know some victims too. I know some folks that died as a result of domestic violence. Unfortunately, wish they were still here, but stinks. But like I said, I love helping people, and I don't mind sharing my love of comics with y'all and doing so at the same time. All right, the count is 8,896. Now, according to my math, that's 104 away from 9,000. And I don't know what episode I don't know what episode it's gonna be. I can definitely tell you it's not gonna be the next 2 weeks. I don't buy comics like that. I just don't. I mean, there are certain, just like I said in the Any Question segment, there are certain books that I buy, and I don't buy every one. It's right now it's just basically DC and Marvel. But it's coming, and when it comes, we're gonna celebrate. All right, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 229. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero. All right, first up is Titan Special. Black Panther number 2. Spider-Man vs. Deadpool number 38. Captain America number 3. Titans number 22. Titans number 21. Sorry, I just realized I didn't put Titans in a different, in an order. So at least I could do is put any other books that I bought in order. Infinity Countdown number 2. Infinity Countdown number 3. Infinity Countdown number 4. Infinity Countdown number 5. Peter Parker and Spectacular Spider-Man number 306. Peter Parker and Spectacular Spider-Man number 305. Supergirl number 19. Supergirl number 20. Champions number 16. Champions number 17. Champions number 18. Deadpool number 2. Deadpool number 4. The Immoral Hulk number 5. Justice League number 7. Green Lanterns number 54. And finally, X-Men Gold number 35. Alright, that's 23, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 8,896.